uiteindelijk gaan we deze lezing opnemen. Na die tijd zal die terug te kijken zijn voor de mensen die zich hebben aangemeld. Wil je in ieder geval, wil je niet op de video, doe dan in ieder geval je camera uit, maar in ieder geval graag je microfoon uit. Vragen kunnen gesteld worden via de chat. Dan zullen wij die delen. En ik wens jullie een fijne avond. En Henk, voor jou de introductie.
Good evening, fellow horse breeders, and a special welcome from Hannes Sigurjónsson from Iceland. I know Hannes for a pretty long time. I actually bought a horse from him. That's a separate story. But Hannes was at that time, for me, an unknown breeder. In the meantime, he has developed to somebody who delivers quite a few very good horses. And from his horses, I can tell you there are 6 in the Netherlands. So it will be very interesting for those people to follow this lecture. I understand that few are already listening, so we hope that we have a pleasant evening. Hannes knows a lot. I've seen several horses of him on Landsmoot. I've seen several stallions of him, and believe me, he's always on the right spot, and you can find him anywhere where you don't expect him. So I met him once in the north, although he's living in the south, and he's breeding like hell. So Hannes, I hope you can make us give us some tips and some hints, because we also want to breed horses with 9.5 foot pace and foot tilt.
Thank you, Hank, for this nice presentation. Yes, I am a breeder in Iceland. That's not my main profession, although it is probably takes not less of my time than my profession. I am a medical doctor. I'm a surgeon, a plastic surgeon. So that is my main profession, but horse breeding and riding horses and competing, that is my passion and our passion in the family. My wife and we have 3 kids who are all riding and competing. So it's a real family sport, and we even try to include our children when we are breeding horses. So I want to just present my breeding farm just shortly, show you a few pictures by sharing my screen. I have a short PowerPoint which I can share with you now. Do you see it?
Yes, we see it.
You see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes. So this cafe talk was supposed to be, just a talk through Zoom with interactive with questions from you. But me and my wife started our breeding, you can say, in 2007. Then we got our first foal, and that foal wasn't from Hamarsey because we hadn't bought the land Hamarsey yet. We were breeding with our friends at Ragnheiðarstaðir. We had a very nice breeding mare called Hátíð frá Úlfstöðum. And Hátíð frá Úlfstöðum was a very special mare, which I bought actually when she was 2 years old. I knew the pedigree of her and I knew the breeder, and I really wanted her. I was still a medical student. Hátíð was born in 2001, and I bought Hátíð for around 1,300 euro when she was 2 years old for the student loan sum of 2 months. So 2 months I got my student loans from the state, and I bought this mare. So and she went on to become the youngest horse, the youngest mare ever to get 10 for tult as a 5-year-old. And And she was the mother of our first foal. That was Hákon from Ragnarstaðir, who got the first prize for offsprings on Landsmót 2018. But and that was a short story of our first foal. We bought Hamarsey in 2007. We were very young. We were only 27 years old when we bought the land. Our parents weren't in horses at all. My grandfather was a horse breeder, but he died when I was around 20. And so we started ourselves. We bought the land, we built a small house, and we started with getting very, very good mares. So that was the foundation for our breeding. And we bought Hátíð for Úlfstöðum. She was one of our first mares. And then we bought Þruma from Hólshúsum and Selma from Sauðárkróki and Hamburg from Feti. So these four mares were our first mares of foundation for our breeding. So someone has their not muted, yeah. And we started breeding, and and these 20 years have gone by or 18 years gone by very, very fast. But we have succeeded a lot, in our opinion, over these 18 years. So we have gotten a Breeder of the Year nomination, a Sport Breeder of the Year nomination, and as we are really focusing on breeding good sport horses, we have already gotten our horses 9 Icelandic Championships titles. What we wanted to do with our breeding was to really breed with feeling and breed horses that we really like to ride and horses that we really like to see and admire ourselves. So when we set out to focus on the tult, so we really wanted to have breed horses with exceptional tult. So and as a manifest to that, we already have bred 5 mares that have gotten 9.5 for tult. But to have good tult is not the only thing you have to have to make a good sport horse, because we really wanted to breed good sport horses, both for ourselves and to sell to others, because we wanted also our breeding to be financially sustainable. We don't want to be working a lot in other jobs to fund the breeding. We want that the horse breeding is funding itself, at least break even. So we saw early on that the most value for us as breeders was to breed horses that are good in sport, that are suitable for sport, that have a good mind, good tult, good carriage in tult. And we reached very early on our ultimate goal with Julia from Hamarsey, that is born in 2009. She went on to become 7 times Icelandic champion in both tult T1, T2, and 4-gate and combination. And she also got 9.5 for tult in breeding assessment. Our next huge milestone was probably Þórhildur from Hamarsey, that was shown when she was 4 years old and got 9.5 for tult on Landsmót 2018 in Reykjavik. and this is one of the highlights of our breeding history, to have bred Þórhildur and see her succeed in breeding assessment and get these great notes for her tolt.
Hannes, just a quick question. Are you working on a PowerPoint, or is it correct that we still see an Instagram page?
Okay, no, you should see a PowerPoint.
Yeah, we see a website.
You see a website, okay. So let me share. Guys, I was seeing the PowerPoint. So I've stopped sharing and I'm going to share again.
Yes, now we see the...
Can you see the PowerPoint now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and now we see the whole screen. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, this was the PowerPoint slides that were following my talk. I was talking about, our breeding goals and our horses that have succeeded really well. Then went on to talk about Julia, which was one of our highlights in breeding. She became 7 times Icelandic champion and with 9.5 for tolt, and Icelandic champion in 3 disciplines actually, T1, T2, and 4-gate. And then I talked about Þórhildur, which was another highlight of our breeding, and who got 9.5 for tolt as a 4-year-old. And then I'm getting to the next success of our breeding, which is breeding horses for us, for us and our family, for our children. This is Þoka from Hamasey, who was shown in Fitso already as a 4-year-old. There she is as a 4-year-old in Fitso, and she ended up with getting 9.5 for tolt as well. But the main thing was that she went on to become Icelandic champion in tolt T1 with our daughter Hekla. So, and this is another huge milestone and a real joy in breeding horses when you and your family can enjoy them and they become your friends. And like our daughter Hekla, who was then 14 years old, and she's now 18, became Icelandic champion. So this is really fun and had a real effect on us, and really pushed us to continue breeding and continue with this breeding goal. And this is Hilmir and Hekla. Hekla is there on a chestnut horse riding in the Nordic Championships. She's a rider for the national team, the young riders team. And this is Hilmir. He's now 12 years old, and he started his competition career. And there they are, Hekla on the right, and Saga, the youngest, she's 7 years old, and Hilmir, 12 years old. So this was my short presentation of our breeding and our goals, and probably the happiest goal is to breed horses that you and your family can enjoy to ride and to watch. And you can go on Instagram, and do you see that now? The Instagram page? Can't see that now.
No, we see not the Instagram page. We still see the link now.
Okay. How about now? Gonna try again.
Yeah. Share again.
There.
Yeah, now we see the Instagram page.
Yeah. So we try to be active on Instagram to show the world what we are doing, and you can see some of our stallions here in stories. This was our main pride here, called Victor fra Hamasey. He was 4 years old. Was shown on Landsmót last summer. So he's a really cool stallion, which we think is gonna be nice. There's me and Hekla on Landsmót. She did with this stallion called Grímur. But you can go on Instagram and follow us and check out our material here. But please, I'm open to questions if there are any questions.
Let's see if there are any questions. You can put them in the chat. There's a question. When did you start riding and what age yourself?
Yeah, good question. I was actually just 2 or 3 years old. I rode with my mother's father, my grandfather. I lived in a suburb of Reykjavik, which is really close to Fokkur. Took me just 5 minutes to walk after school to the stable, and he had a big stable there in Fokkur in Reykjavik, and I went there every day after school from when I was 6, 7 years old, and trained young horses. My grandfather used to put me on 3 and 4 years old horses and break them in and train them, start them with him. So that was my a big part of my life from very early on.
Yeah. Another question is, when do you decide which horse is going to stay or which horse you are going to sell?
That's a good question. Of course, we would like to, uh, uh, have all of them stay, but we have to take care that the group of horses doesn't get too big. That's number one. We have about 50 horses now, and my feeling is that is the absolute maximum for us to handle.
Yeah.
We are getting 4, 5 foals a year, and so you have to think about that first. How many horses in total can you have? So, and number two, you have to sell horses to have the breeding fund itself, to get money to continue breeding. So we have had to sell, very expensive, very good horses to get money in for the breeding. So we are always, both selling the horses that maybe we are not going to use, that maybe are not suitable for sport. We can sell them maybe as riding horses or or as youngsters. But we really think about the horses that we like to stay if they have a real future within our family, either as sport horses or mares continuing our breeding.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. You say that a good tilt is one of your breeding goals. Where do you look for, or where do you look at regarding to the tilt when you're choosing a stallion for one of your mares?
Mhm. I look mainly at three things. The first one is the beat. It has to be a stallion who has a really clear beaded tult.
Mhm.
Then I look at the slow tult. I really like my horses to have good carriage in slow tult. So they have to be able to raise their necks and come with the hindquarters underneath and really have this quality of good carriage and both the horse and the rider feels good while riding slow tult.
Mhm.
That's number two. And the 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 third thing is that I really like when the the movement, the steps get bigger in more tempo. So that's a quality I always look for.
Mhm.
Uh, like uh, I don't know if you see it. Do you see
Yeah,
my screen now?
we still see your Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. This is Fluga from Hrafnagili. Uh, she's one of our breeding mares now. And you can see that she has a really good slow tilt, but when she goes fast, her steps become bigger.
Mhm.
So that's a quality I like to have uh, regarding the movements.
Okay. You spoke about your first mare, the first mare that came into your family. How did you select her, or how did you?
Mm.
Was there
I,
something special that you said she's our start mare?
her father is Kolfinnur for Kjarnholtum, and Kolfinnur is one of the pillars of Icelandic breeding. And I really wanted a mare after Kolfinnur. But
Mm-hmm.
what made me decide for Hátíð, this mare, was that I trained her sister, her older sister actually, for one winter, and her name is Harka frá Úlfstöðum, and she is the mother of Hercules from Ragnheiðarstaðir and Húni from Ragnheiðarstaðir, and many great horses. She belonged to my friend, and I was training her for one winter, and really fell in love with her. She was an exceptional horse, so I went on to buy her little sister, who was Hátíð.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, you spoke about the selection of the tölt in the stallions you use or you choose for your mares. Are there any other things you look for in choosing a mare or choosing a stallion for your mares?
Mm. Uh, I of course like everybody looks for good confirmation,
Mm-hmm.
and what I find preferable in confirmation is a high set neck that is soft in the neck,
Mm-hmm.
so that the horse feels comfortable when the neck is round and the horse is soft in the mouth. Uh, Another thing I look for in a stallion when I'm choosing stallions is uh, I don't like them to be too long. So the length, of the body should not be more than maybe 2-3 centimeters shorter than the height.
Mm-hmm.
So I like them when they're not too long.
Okay. Yeah. Um, the next question is, so you spoke about the goal or the aim to breed a good sport horse, but also a good family horse. So is it correct that your breeding goal is actually like two types of horses, or maybe one horse that comes where those goals come together, a good family horse and a good sport horse?
No, no, absolutely not. I'm always trying to breed the perfect sport horse for me and my family.
Yeah. Yeah,
So, and
that's what we mean for your family. Yeah, for your
yeah,
family. Yeah.
yeah, that can suit everybody. My daughter is competing at the national team level, uh, and and uh, and she really needs good, strong horses.
Hmm.
But uh, no, we're not breeding two types of horses. We're breeding, very very good sport horses that have a good mind, but also these qualities that we've talked about before.
Yeah.
And the product of this breeding, doesn't, 100% become exceptional sport horses. Some just become great riding horses. So they come as well when you're breeding, when you're
Hmm.
focusing on this in your breeding, I presume.
Yeah. Yeah. Another question is, when do you decide whether or not they are going to be a breeding mare or when they are going to be ridden?
What we have done in the later years is really getting to know our mares. So we have uh, not taken them into breeding until they are maybe at least 8 or 9 years old.
Hmm.
And we want them to have a a competition career before they come into the breeding. And that's also when you really, get to know them.
Hmm. Yeah. So you know um, the way they are as a riding horse and their character as a riding horse. So you can, is it then also so you know better which stallion is suitable for them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Um, there's a saying like a good horse has no color, but one of the participants is very accurate on all your nice pictures on Instagram,
Mm.
and she sees quite a lot of special and colors on the pictures. Is it something special, or is it just luck, or is it just
No, it's a coincidence.
it's a coincidence?
Preferably, I would only have black horses with a lot of mane.
Yeah, if that's your perfect picture.
That's the best, competition color. But I really love brown horses.
Mhm.
Like, do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Grímur that we have, this one here,
Hmm.
and I also like what's it called? Mausfalbe,
Yeah.
in Deutsch. Blue dun.
Hmm.
That's one of my favorite colors, and of course, white or gray, Schimmel.
Hmm.
That's a color we also like, but no, we are color is probably, is very far down the list when we are breeding horses.
Yeah. So it's just coincidence that you've got so much nice colors on the
Yes.
internet. Yeah.
Yes.
Um. One of the participants says it's really nice to listen to your personal story, and her question is: did I understand it correctly that the horses were judged with a 9.5 for told, and was that already at 4 years old, or was it later on?
No, no. That was later on for most. We only had one mare that got 9.5 for told as a 4-year-old.
Okay.
So the other ones got it when they were older,
Yeah.
five, 6 or 7.
Yeah. Do you see the benefit of showing 4-year olds? already under the saddle? What do you see as benefit for it?
We very rarely do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of our maybe we're getting five, you know, our approximately 5 foals a year, and we're showing 4 years old, maybe one every other or every 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the statistics speak for themselves that no, we usually don't show 4-year-olds, and it's our opinion that, you know, of 24-year-olds that come into or 3-year-olds that come into starting,
Mm-hmm.
maybe one of these 20 will, you know, come to breeding assessment as a
Yeah.
4-year-old.
Yeah.
So
It's of course the number is much bigger in Iceland than in the Netherlands, so the chance that we see a 4-year-old is
yeah.
is different. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Then Patty or Hank, I don't know who, but one of them wants to know what's in your opinion the best stallion at the moment, and what's the best mare, and it's your personal opinion.
Of my horses or overall?
Overall, I think Hank. Overall.
Okay. Uh, so, you know, overall in the world, the best Icelandic stallion in the world today is, I would have to say, Skýr frá Skálakoti. He is by far the best breeder of last years, and with some, you know, unusually high percentage of horses, offsprings from him coming into FITSO breeding assessment and sport. And as of now, we have 3 or 4 Skýr offsprings, and we are waiting for 2 more.
Okay. And then Hank also got the question, the best mare.
Yeah, best mare. I'm not sure which mare in the world I would uh, want to have if I were to choose.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably just get my Þórhildur back. Þórhildur frá Hamasey, the blue dun mare that got 9.5 for Tult as a 4-year-old. We sold her. As a lady from Switzerland that bought her
Okay.
in 2018.
Mm.
So we miss her. We would like to get her back.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's also showing a bit of really the family heart and the way you horses are part of the family. And there's
Yeah.
one of the questions. Can you repeat the last name of the stallion you said was the best?
Skýr frá Skálakoti.
Ah, yeah.
The
Thank you.
the chestnut with the blaze.
Yeah. There's another question. Will we see you as a breeder of one of the breeding horses for Iceland in Swiss this summer?
Probably not. No, no. I don't think so. We don't have any older stallions from our breeding right now that we are aiming for Switzerland with.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe my daughter, but not on our bred horse, but she will try to get in the Icelandic national team for Switzerland.
Yeah. Great. Good. Are there any more questions? There's nothing coming at the moment. Oh yeah, now they're coming. Are there any young stallions, as far as you know, we should keep our eyes on?
Mhm. Yes. Last year I took mares both to Skier, this stallion which I was talking about before, which I think is the best in the world. But also we are really interested in placing our bets on young stallions that we think have a great future, and we took three mares, two young stallions, uh, and I can write their names here.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yes, please.
uh, Solstafur frá Bakkagoti. So these are the three young stallions we used for our mares. The last one is most famous of them. He was on last Landsmót with a great result. But these we are waiting foals from these three young stallions.
Good.
Uh,
Yeah.
and mm, and probably we tried to use, uh, but we didn't. Our mare didn't get pregnant. Uh, that was this one here, which I just typed in, Miðill frá Hrafnagili. We
Okay.
really liked him. Uh, we have used his father, Julia, or one of our best mares, is also from Auður frá Lundum, like Miðill. So we are probably taking one or two mares to Miðill next summer.
And what is it in him particularly that you say we really like him?
Uh, his type of movements,
Yeah.
his which I was explaining before, his steps and his what do you say, his functionality of the movements to that his step gets so much bigger when he increases his tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we know the breeder of him, and we have gotten to know the stallion a little bit ourselves, and he is a really nice character. So, and Auður has been successful with our mares before,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't hurt that he is black with a lot of mane.
It doesn't hurt.
No.
Maybe the fall will be black with a lot of mane as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
how do you deal in your breeding with the Icelandic horse has actually quite a small amount of gene pockets, and we in the Netherlands have got some problems with the Frisian horses and see malformations within the breed of the Frisian horses. Is there anything of um, the inheritance where you look at, or how strict are you in that for inbreeding?
I'm actually quite strict, and I try to, although I base my selection of stallions for my mares with you call it your I always think plus plus times plus.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a mare, and my mares have fantastic tult, and I want to have a stallion with fantastic tult. Then I can get a foal with even better tult than them. So I don't think of breeding as to weigh up the I always try to pair two great qualities together
Mm-hmm.
rather than to get, to breed a mare with very bad trot with a stallion that has fantastic trot. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think of it like that. I want to I want to focus on what's good and to pair that together.
Yeah, good.
Uh, mm,
Um, what's for you a good character? How do you describe a good character?
uh, first maybe it's a horse that is nice to be around, and a horse that wants to be around you. Uh, I I always, I'm always in my herd, looking at the young horses, and those who really want to be with you, they are the ones that I want to keep. Uh, and I really, or to breed more of them. So I think that's a and people have asked me, aren't those the horses that are, not sensitive enough or that become lazy? But that's not the case in my opinion. In my experience, they have, you know, they can also have a great willingness and a great potential. So and for competition, for sport, you have to have calmness, or
Mm-hmm.
to be able to to calm the horse and to because I think times have changed now in the last years, on how sport judges, and how the sport is judged.
Mm-hmm.
The times are over when you could take a very agile horse in a lot of stress and do good in sport competition. That is over. That was 10, 20 years ago. That's not possible anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in Denmark, this weekend there was spoken about also the conflict behavior. And conflict behavior, of course, is shown when a horse, yeah, also is under stress. So a horse that's, of course, there needs to be a will to perform, but also there needs to be easygoing and not very stressed in their character as well. Yeah. Maybe you
And
don't have
yeah.
the overview in total, but what's, in your opinion, the best stallion out of Iceland? So
Mm,
somewhere in the world.
mm, mm. I really liked uh, Grímur frá Efraseli, he's called, and his offsprings. He's in Denmark,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and uh, and yeah, it's a tricky question. What stallions are abroad uh, that I would like to use?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, mm, 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 mm. Can't think of anyone besides Screamer that I really miss from Iceland. I'm sure there are many, but I just can't think of them right
Yeah,
now.
no,
Uh,
that's okay. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, what direction is the breeding going in Iceland, in your opinion? What can be better? What needs to be, or is there a next goal? Is there some point on the horizon? What needs to be achieved, in your opinion?
First and foremost, we have to stop with this blood mares breeding. that you probably heard about.
Yeah.
That has to stop. But overall, in horse breeding, I think we are always striving for better quality, and I think and the statistics show that as well. The quantity of foals being born in Iceland has gone down a lot in the last years, and I think people are getting more aware of breeding more quality and less quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So using mares that have been shown in breeding assessment, and only using stallions that have either fantastic pedigree or a really high judgment in feed show. So I think that we are in a good spot there. And we have done a lot in Iceland to eliminate injuries in breeding assessments. So
Yeah.
you don't get an assessment, you don't get the scores if you have a serious injury. And the statistics, the numbers show that these type of injuries have gone down dramatically in the last years.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that is we are showing better prepared horses, more trained. And that's number one. And number two, I think both, the horses are getting better. They have better balance in the gaits. They have better conformation. So they're not as prone to injuries.
Yeah. Okay. Did you ever breed the same combination twice? Did you use the same combination twice?
No, I don't think so. I no, I
I see somebody saying yes in my screen, but it's
okay.
some pharmacist from the Netherlands. I don't know if you know him.
A pharmacist. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember who that was. He's probably right. Great if we could type in the example to remind me who that is. But
Hector.
I have so much fun in breeding
Yeah.
and choosing stallions from my mares that I always want to try something new.
Yeah. Okay.
And we are every year getting so good stallions, young stallions that it's hard to keep away.
Yeah. Is there a maximum of inbreed percentage that you use for your combinations?
We have these color codes
Yeah.
in the world finger. And I don't always look up the combination in Worldfinger before I take the mare to the stallion, but so I can't really say which inbreeding coefficient I would not go above, but I look at the pedigree, and if it's too close, I stay away.
Yeah. Okay. Here in the Netherlands, and maybe also in other continents, countries in the continent, there's this quite a lot of problems with also Icelandic horses, but also different breeds with the teeth disease, in which there is the tooth root will get very big. I don't know how you would say it in English. Is that something you also see in Iceland and in the breeding in Iceland, or hardly?
Never heard about it. No.
Okay, good. Okay, this may be a tricky question. The one who is writing it says already. Is there any stallion or lines you prefer not to use? So we spoke about stallions you would love to use, or where you look at, but are there stallions or family lines that you absolutely would not use or not prefer to use?
I can name an example, like the father and son Ómur frá Kvistum and Concert frá Hofi. Ómur, he won landsmót in A-flokkur in 5 gate, and his son Concert got 10 for 12, and on landsmót as a 4-year-old, exceptional 12, very good conformation. But the reason why I didn't use these two stallions was the character. And it has, proven that, especially for Concert, that that his character is a little bit too nervous, and he already showed some very negative, traits when he was being shown in feat show and in competition, like stopping or turning around, and the walk not being, calm enough. So although that can be related to that too much was done in the training as a 4-year-old, but there are many 4-year-olds that do very good and have very high assessment that don't have these traits. So I rather use them than to get these character traits in my horses.
Yeah, good. Is there one favorite horse of your own breeding? Is there one special one or favorite one?
From my own breeding?
Yeah, you bred yourself.
I have horses that I have bred and sold that I miss very much, like Þórhildur, which I talked about before, and a stallion called Hector from Hamasey, Pinto stallion, with very nice movements and big, beautiful. He was sold to Germany. And a mare called Harka, who was sold to Switzerland as well. She had 9.5 for 12. So these are the horses that I miss from my breeding. But nobody should feel sorry for me, because I think I have very good horses and breeding mares.
Yeah. You spoke about the character and that you look at the horse, for example, when you walk through your field, and then just how the horses react and how open they are. How do you see those character traits, and which one translates most to be for a good riding horse?
I think like I mentioned before, those who are the horses that are self-aware, those who are highly ranked in the herd, that can be also young horses. I have a 2-year-old now, a mare that is an absolute queen in the herd of young horses, although that there are many older young horses there with her. But I think this trait of curiosity and being self-confident, I think that's the most important character trait I see.
Yeah, good. What's your opinion of the new judges guideline for breeding shows? They've changed a few years ago, and first breeders were not so happy. And what's your opinion? How is it now?
Yeah, the most controversial change was that they were asking for loose rein tilt. It's I don't think it should be that important. A good breeding judge should be able to see if a horse has good carriage and strong tilt, without seeing a loose rein. especially for younger horses, it can be really tricky. And but it's good information, and if you can't do it, do it. Ride loose rein when you're showing the horses in a breeding show. But I think, yeah, I think it should be an option. I think it doesn't add much, that especially for the younger horses. And my fear is that these these hoops, if we continue putting more and more hoops for us to jump through in showing and breeding horses, we're going to get fewer and fewer horses into breeding shows. And that is a real flaw. We want to have as many horses in breeding shows as we can to get as much information as we can about the breeding.
Okay. Yeah. Back to the heredity factors, or defects in horses in general. Is there anything in Iceland known about laminitis or equine metabol syndrome in mares and or stallions, and do you select on that or not?
The discussion about EMS is quite new in Iceland. It's a new problem for us. With maybe the weather is getting warmer, the grass is growing faster, and our hay is stronger. And we want to be kind to our horses, and we're feeding them too much. So the discussion on laminitis is quite new, just getting big, in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It's become a real problem in Iceland, and I think that EMS, although I haven't seen any studies on it being hereditary, that it lies in the genes which are more prone to getting EMS than other, but that could be a possibility. It would be interesting to know if there are any studies on that. But and you see some mares that are more prone to getting fat and to getting diabetes or EMS.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see and do a study on the daughters and the geldings, because stallions are very rarely too fat, on if it's hereditary.
I will have a look at it if there are any breeds and studies done already on EMS, and if there's a familiar line in it, yes or no. But not with Icelandic horses, but probably with Frisians. So I will look it up for you. Is there for you a perfect or ideal height for a competition horse?
Yeah. I'm a bit skeptical about getting horses a lot over 150. I both have bred myself and have had stallions that are over 150, 151, 152, 153 maybe, and they have a problem, especially with the inside arena competitions. The field is not big enough for them. So we should be careful not to get the Icelandic horses too big.
Yeah. You spoke about the less injuries during the Fitso evaluation, and you said because of the horses are getting more, have a correcter exterior, carry more better self carriage and things like that. But what is your opinion about the high or maybe extreme front leg movement and also the hypermobility and the risk of injuries? Do you see a correlation between that or not?
You know, you can probably find the correlation if you look at the statistics, and that would be also very interesting to see if the horses who are getting the remarks, you know, high movements and so forth in the breeding judgment, if they have, you know, less probability of getting, you know, old in competition. And we will probably get this information now when we are getting the sport results in the breeding coefficients in the blood. So, and we're going to get that soon. So we're going to see this, but of course, you know, if the movements are extreme, you know, they are probably more prone to injuries. But yeah,
Maybe also different injuries, of course, maybe more tendon injuries than really like boots or blood on the hoofs, because if the movement is so big, the legs are
yeah,
up and away.
Mhm.
Simplified.
Yeah.
You spoke about the preference of a good horse for the good tilt and a good character, but do you have a preference of a 4-gaiter or a 5-gaiter?
Uh, you know, we have been mainly breeding horses that are shown as 4-gaiters. However, all of our mares have this genotype of AA,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a pedigree of pace. And I think, you know, for great tult, you have to have good pace in the background and a lot of, you know, a lot of room, a lot of tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I use and some of my mares even that they are not shown as 5-gaiters, they are 5-gaiters. We've just trained the tult to become, you know, with good tempo and fast, so that the pace is not worthy of showing. Uh, but so I and for me to ride, you know, I like to ride. My favorite horse to ride is a 4.5 gaiter, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He has pace, but you know his tult is great, and I don't, you know, have a preference for training the pace or showing the pace.
Okay. Yeah. Now I have one. What's the advantage of a cylindric core? I don't know really if that's the
Mm.
right translation, but um, the I will look it up.
Yeah, cylindrical core.
Yeah.
The body is, you know, like a
Yeah.
tube,
Yeah.
and not flat on the sides.
Yeah. What's the advantage of that? Is a question.
I don't know if they have shown that that has an advantage more than just being, you know, a light horse, you know, a light body, and a
Mhm.
more beautiful horse to look at than a horse that has, you know, flat sides.
Okay.
Not sure.
No, we don't know.
No, no.
Okay. Then one more round of are there any questions? And otherwise, we are going to yeah. There's another. um. Uh, yeah. There is this also um this periodic eye inflammation. Do you see that in Iceland as well? We
No,
no?
never heard about that.
Yeah, some horses even go blind after a while, or they get inflammations every now and then. And it's something we see quite often, not only in the Icelandic not only in the Icelandic horses, but we see it more and more. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
One of the reaction is about the core is that there probably maybe also more room for the lungs if it's cylindric instead of flat. Could
Okay.
be.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't know.
You know, but the cylindrical horses, they tend to be much lighter,
Okay.
much, you know, less body than the horses that have flat sides.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see.
Yeah. Then this will be the last question. What's your opinion about the maybe extreme difference between the height of the withers and the height of the croup?
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you have an opinion about that?
You know, we in recent years we have had horses that have this, like Kveikur frá Stangalæk and his offsprings. You know, Quaker got 10 for Tult, and he has, you know, he's like a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
But you know, I like my horses to have a little bit of this uphill building, but uphill conformation. But and I think it makes it easier for them to be collected and feel comfortable when they are collected and in high tempo. But we have to be careful of extremes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. And of course, we have to be careful that we don't breed German shepherds, as you say, and then
Yeah,
they will have some problems
yeah, absolutely.
in hips and knee joints in later on.
Mhm.
Good. That will be it for tonight. There was one. Yeah, may I ask how the cylindric core makes the horse lighter? I think you already said it, that you don't know it, or did I
Yeah,
understood
and
it?
it's you know cylindrical horses, you know, they are you know lighter to look at
Yeah.
when you know opposite to horses that have flat sides, they have a deeper core. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the body is, you know, has more centimeters, so they are heavier to look at.
Yeah. Okay. Then I would really like to thank you, Hannes, for being during this NSIP virtual cafe here with your slides, but also being like a Q&A. Thank you very much. And who knows, we'll see each other somewhere during this in Swiss or somewhere else. And enjoy your horses and
Yes,
enjoy
thank
your
you.
family. Yeah,
Follow us on Instagram and
we will.
keep following us. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
nice evening.
Have a nice evening.